Today we're going to be talking about TressAllure Picture Perfect. And right away, I'm going to give you some real talk about this girl. She gets tangly, she gets frizzy, she gets frazzly, so if you're looking for a quick throw and go, this is not your girl. However, I personally own 3 of them because I love her so much, and she's earned a spot in my suitcase for my last 2 beach vacations. So here's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna look closely at these colors. I'm gonna show you her cap, and then we're gonna get into the real talk. I'm gonna tell you exactly how she wore on vacation and even show you some pictures along the way and some video clips. And then we're gonna get into the maintenance, and I'm gonna show you a live demo of how I have maintained this girl over the last couple of years and kept her looking nice. I'm going to read the official description of Picture Perfect for you. So Picture Perfect is a silky, straight, long bob with collar length fringe and smooth layered ends. The sleek silhouette and polished finish give this style a refined, put together look that photographs beautifully and wears even better. Let's also go through some of her specs. So the fringe here is 7 to 9 inches. The crown is 14.5 inches and the nape is 10 inches. She weighs 5.32 ounces, and the hair fiber is realistic, heat-friendly fiber. Let's also take a close look at Desert Ombre, which is the color that's on my head. So it's 1723 R8, and it's described as a dimensional, multi-tonal salon color featuring a warm blend of pale auburn and beige blonde. It's rooted in a soft, medium brown, and frequently includes light blonde highlights, creating a realistic warm bronze or light brunette appearance. Let me get up close for you on that hairline. It's just such a unique color and I absolutely love it. Okay, let's go ahead and take a close look at Sunset Melt, which is the other color that I have here. So we're going to take off Desert Ombre and put on Sunset Melt. And if you've been around for a while or wearing TressAllure, you know that these color names are newer. So they used to only have the color codes, but recently they introduced the names for each color as well. So we're all still just getting used to it. So Sunset Melt is absolutely beautiful. I wore both of these colors on vacation this year because this is one that I had bought this year, and I really loved it. I thought it was such a pretty beach vacation color. So let me go ahead and read her description to you. So TressAllure color 1426 R10, often called Sunset Melt, is a beautiful dimensional blend of light red brown and cool gold blonde highlights finished with a flattering medium brown root. And I'll go ahead and get up close so you can see her hairline. Love her. Now let's take a look at these 2 colors side by side. So as a reminder, on my head I have Sunset Melt, and in my hand I have Desert Ombre. Aren't they just such beautiful dimensional colors? And I'll go ahead and get up close so you can see the top view as well. Let's go ahead and take a close look at this cap. So she has a full monofilament top, and you can part her anywhere within the space here, left, right, center. She has an extended lace front, velvet ear tabs. She has an extended nape and Velcro adjusters. You can also see that she's open wefted with a very nice stretchy cap. I also want to note how this cap is fitting me. So I am on the smaller side of average, right on the edge of petite for my circumference and my ear to ear measurement. My front to nape is definitely average. And if you're curious about my exact measurements, I'll have those details for you. And you can see I almost have them touching here. So if your head is bigger than mine, definitely average, probably even on the large size of average, I think you'll be okay with this cap. Starting out with my beach vacation in South Carolina 2 years ago, I pretty much wore Picture Perfect and Desert Ombre the entire week in braids. So it's a very windy beach. I wanted to make sure I had something that wasn't whipping all over my face, and I just felt like this was the perfect wig. She was so cute. I liked the layered looks that was outside of the braids. And although I did have to heat treat her from time to time throughout the week, taking about 2 minutes with the heat comb and rebraiding her, I felt like she worked out so great and I got so many compliments on her. So that's why I decided to bring her again this year. For vacation this year, I had 3 wigs that were my workhorses. So I had the 2 Picture Perfects, I had Desert Ombre and the Sunset Melt that I had brought. And then I also wore Renee of Paris Isla. And let me just tell you, I wore that girl all the way down and back from South Carolina, which is a total of about 28 hours in the car. And I wore her throughout the week, like when I was just hanging out in the rental. And she performed so well. I'm gonna have a full review for her. Getting back to Picture Perfect. So what you can see here is I was wearing her in kind of a side ponytail, and I would do that walking. I also wore her that way in the golf cart. At first I was a little nervous about maybe my wig, blowing off in the golf cart, so I had a cap on. But then you'll see later that I wore her without a cap, and I had absolutely no problem. She stayed fully in place. I don't even wear a wig grip. Absolutely no problem. Okay, I've got her on the wig stand, and she's looking a little bit of a hot mess. However, we are going to fix her. So as a reminder, how she got to this state is I wore her on the beach vacation. I did heat style her throughout the vacation, but I didn't on the last wear. I brought her home, washed her, did not heat style her, and then I've been handling her a little bit today, and she's not in her best shape. So she's frizzy, she's frazzly, she's got a lot of tangles. Look, I can't even get my hand through that. She's looking clumpy, but we're gonna fix her. She is a bit high maintenance, but if you're looking for that Jennifer Aniston dream hair, this one still might be your girl. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do before we put any heat on her is work through all the knots with a wide tooth comb. So if you are new to wearing wigs, you're definitely gonna wanna put this on your list. I will link it for you. You can find them on Amazon. And this honestly is your best friend. So especially when you're wearing a heat-friendly synthetic, you're gonna wanna keep one of these with you in your purse, in your car, kind of have one everywhere. And just throughout the day, you're gonna wanna just be really gentle, just like I'm gonna do now. And we're gonna work through the ends and then work our way up in here and just kind of work through all of these knots. And just remember, you don't wanna tug too much because these fibers are going to stretch out and then it's going to be even more difficult to maintain. So just take your time. It's no rush. And one other thing I want to mention is if you are, newer to wearing wigs and you love longer styles, these straight styles are so much easier to maintain than the curly ones. Although I will just tell you, I absolutely love curly and wavy synthetic styles. They're absolutely beautiful. But they can be a real challenge to maintain, where these, you're going to see, just because we don't have to try to maintain any of those curl or wave patterns, we're able to just kind of put through heat throughout it, and it fixes up pretty quick and easy. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to work through these knots, again, being really careful and trying not to tug too much. Okay, she's looking really good, and you can see I can just easily pull this comb through her. So I've got all the knots worked out, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get my trusty heat comb. So I got this off Amazon. I use it all the time. It's very inexpensive. It's easy to travel with, and I have the dial between 5 and 10, so at about 7. I'm also going to use my continuous water bottle. This is again an essential if you're wearing wigs, as well as, I wouldn't say this is an essential, but I would highly recommend also getting a heat glove. So I love to burn myself, so I usually wear this while I'm heat styling. I also typically will do it on the mannequin head just so I don't accidentally burn myself. So getting a wig stand might be another thing that you might want to invest in if you're going to be wearing wigs. And I'll have all of this stuff linked for you. So let's get her nice and wet down with a water bottle. You can give her quite a bit of water. And I'm going to get my heat glove on. And then I'm going to take the heat comb to start off with before I use the comb and just kind of like work through her. So again, I'm going to start a little bit like maybe about from here down just to start off with. And you will hear a sizzle, and that's okay, and that's normal. So as I'm going to work the heat comb, especially with the way that this particular wig is cut, which is kind of like very layered and choppy, you'll see that I'm going to get some resistance along the way in certain sections when I'm trying to work the heat comb through. And that's okay, just take it easy. Again, don't pull or tug. You don't want to stretch out the fibers because that's going to give you a little bit of a mess and it might ruin your wig. So again, just take it nice and easy when you're combing the wig or working heat through it. So you might not be able to tell it, but I'm getting little hitches along the way and I'm just really easily guiding it through. Lots of sizzling. Okay, so here you can see I'm getting more resistance, so I'm just going to go down a little bit lower. I'm going to work that through and then bring it back up and really try to work through those knots. It's honestly, I feel like it's just the way that this hair is cut on the wig. There's lots and lots of layers, so this one's, I would just say, like a little bit more challenging to work the heat comb through, but definitely not super advanced. Okay, we're working through it. Okay, now we're getting through nice and easy. So we've worked through whatever those little hiccups or knots were. We're going to continue and just do this through the rest of the wig. Okay, we've worked through the bottom half of the wig with heat all the way around, and I want to show you the result of how easily this comb will move through her now. So you can see there's really no resistance. It's almost going through like butter, and I feel like her fibers are looking so much better. I mean, where we started to now, it's like night and day. She is still just a little bit damp, but that will dry up really quickly. And let's take a look at her movement of her fibers. They're looking really, really good. So all that to say is if you have a heat-friendly wig and she gets tangly, she gets frizzy, she gets frazzly, it does not mean that she's bad and she needs to be thrown away. She likely just needs heat. So I wanted to show you this, and you know, you can get her to look almost just as good as new. So here's my honest take on Picture Perfect. She's not a low maintenance wig. She's gonna need heat and she's gonna need it regularly. However, it's really honestly not that big of a maintenance lift because of her style and because she's straight. So a couple minutes with a heat comb or one of those hot air brushes, you can get her back to looking good really quickly. And I feel like how many times I've worn this wig, and considering it's my first ever heat-friendly synthetic wig that I bought several years ago, and I feel like she's still looking good, I feel like that speaks volumes to her. So if you're not looking for any type of maintenance, this might not be your girl. But if you're looking for a really beautiful Jennifer Aniston style wig, I feel like she's a winner. So what do you say? Is this one that you plan to put in your closet?